The Pursuit of Happiness is it's a pretty bad movie, at least in my opinion. It suffers from being emotional pornography. The whole film is trying to be as depressing as possible, then as happy as possible. The whole film just feels like someone's banging your head against the floor. I guess like Trayvon Martin did to Zimmerman and go, but instead of yelling creepy ass cracker, um, the movie's yelling, emote, 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 please, please have that them feels when, and that's kind of what Pursuit of Happiness is. Is this movie some sort of a condemnation of libertarianism? Is this film a kind of the ultimate libertarian film? Is this Atlas Shrugged or is this Bioshock 2? Who the hell knows? It's a very interesting question. I honest to God don't know if we're supposed to sympathize with Will Smith's character or or empathize with him. Because on one hand, his character is grossly irresponsible. On the other, he's kind of the hero of the film, and he succeeds in the end. The title of the movie, of course, is The Pursuit of Happiness. From the statement, I believe it's the from the Constitution. Yeah, sorry, no, the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator certain unalienable rights. Among these, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Which is generally meant to be a form of freedom. And that's kind of the justification a lot of libertarians and conservatives take towards the Constitution, calling for minimal government. That government cannot infringe with people's individual pursuit of happiness. I think Will Smith's character says something to that effect. That happiness is something you can only pursue, it's not something you can really have. And it's kind of about the journey and the growth that comes with the pursuit of happiness. Maybe, I don't know. So the film opens in 1981 San Francisco, where a salesman, Chris Gardner, we'll just call him Will Smith, invests his entire life savings in portable bone density scanners. Now you're wondering, that's the most fucking random thing I've ever heard, and you'd be right. I mean, what kind of randoid invests his entire life savings in bone density scanners? In something so specific, which is probably going to become obsolete in a year or two. I don't know. I guess just extreme preference. Yeah, Will Smith's character in this film, at least for the first half, has very high time preference for reasons we cannot say, but I'm sure you know what I mean. So he demonstrates the product to doctors and pitches it as a handy quantum leap over standard X-rays because it's a portable X-ray. Why the fuck you need a portable X-ray? And he also, you just bring the person in, you have it. I guess if people have to do door-to-door X-rays, I don't know why, but it also produces a slightly higher resolution, denser X-ray scan. Okay. So he's able to sell most of the scanners, but the time lag. Sorry, let me just repeat that. I'm not sure if that recorded properly. So he's selling the scanners and is able to sell most of them, but it can take a while to sell one. And it's kind of like this. It might take him 4 months to sell the one. It works a bit like this. He'll sell one every 4 months, but they'll provide maybe 2 months of money, which means every time he sells one, he loses cash. Now he's apparently educated, a good salesman, and a businessman. So you might ask yourself, well, if he's just going to be in putting himself deeper and deeper into the hole, why does he keep selling these fucking scanners? Why doesn't he just get a job? The answer is high time preference. Getting a job and working his way up in a company, which he clearly could given his intelligence, his presumable education, and his sales abilities, that would take time and effort. Instead, if he can just basically con some fucking doctors into buying his stupid bone density scanners, that'll make him a bunch of money really quickly. So he decides to do that instead. In the meantime, what happens is his wife, played by Thandie Newton, works as a hotel maid and provides virtually all the money to the family. Now that's pretty cucked, being an able-bodied male and having your wife pay for everything. It also means that their son suffers from rather extensive deprivation from not having any money coming in. Will Smith kind of expresses mild concern over this. He's like, "I just gotta sell the rest of these bone density scanners and everything will work out." Even though the fact is, even if he does sell all of them, it won't get them out of the financial black hole. So while downtown trying to sell one of his scanners, um, Will Smith meets Gardner. Will Smith meets Jay, a manager for a whatchamacallit, a fund of sorts. And he impresses him by solving a Rubik's Cube during a short taxi ride. Um, as Jay leaves, Will Smith is like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of the taxi fare." However, Will Smith's character lacks money to pay for the taxi fare, so he does what most people like him would probably do in this situation, and runs away, cheating the taxi cab owner out of his money. So the taxi cab owner just spent an hour of his time and probably a lot of money and gas to drive these people around. But because Will Smith is the protagonist and he has high time preference, um, he can't think that far ahead. All he can think of is, I got a free taxi cab ride, gives me that. Fuck this guy who's trying to make a living for his family. It's not like I can emphasize. Oh wait, but Will Smith's character is trying to make a living for his family. So it's okay if he steals from someone who has an actual fucking job so he can pursue his improbable dream of becoming a hedge fund manager. That makes sense. So he runs away, and he gets onto a train station. So he gets onto a train station. He boards a train, I think, without paying, so he's stealing from the public now. That's also a sketchy thing that high time preference people, if you know what I mean, do. So yeah, he's stolen from two people in the span of a day, but he loses one of his scanners in the process. His relationship with Jay earns him the chance to become an interim stockbroker. The day before the interview, let's see here. Um, Will Smith agrees to paint his apartment so as to postpone being evicted due to his difficulty in paying the rent. Because landlords are evil. Now, I know a lot of landlords are shitheads and they charge too much money and they don't do their job. But Will Smith in this movie is a fucking deadbeat. I mean, the guy, like, he's not paying his electric bill, he's not paying his water bill. The guy who probably is fairly modest given the shitty apartment he owns, he's not getting money. He has to feed his family too. He can't afford to have Will Smith freeloading off of him. But the guy is portrayed as evil because he wants his cash. And this is kind of very similar to how a lot of high time preference rioters do. They're saying, like, gives me that. I want the money. It's okay for me to steal from other people because gives me. And that's kind of what Will Smith's character is in this film. So while painting, Will Smith is greeted by two policemen at his doorstep, who take him to the station, stating he has to pay for his numerous parking tickets. Let's see here. Um, so he is upset 'cause he's like, "I don't want to pay for my parking tickets. Gives me that." Now, to be fair, parking tickets are bullshit. I think they're just a money grab. I know in Toronto, the signs are extremely confusing. They point in different directions. The unevenness of the streets makes it almost impossible. Abstract, my pal, has gotten all kinds of fucking parking tickets when we go to Toronto, just because of how fucking shitty the system is. I know I've gotten a lot of them where I live because it's illegal to park on the street even if there's no snow during the winter, because plows have to get by even if there's no snow, and the cops will come around at 3 in the morning and put the fucking tickets on your car. So they're bullshit, but Will Smith's character is supposed to be a fucking genius, so he can't figure it out. He can't figure out where the fucking parking tickets are given. Plus, once again, he's stealing from the government. He's stealing. He's not paying his fair share. So like this is like 3 or 4 people he's stolen from so far. So as part of the sanction, Will Smith is ordered to spend the night in jail, complicating his schedule for the interview the next morning. He manages to arrive at the office in time, albeit in shabby clothes. Despite his appearance, he impresses the interviews and lands an internship. I forget exactly how it works. He will be competing among 20 interns, competing for a paid position as broker. So this is kind of the corporate wankery in this film. This is his salvation, to work for this fucking company who's also stealing, because they're demanding that these fucking 20 people um, have to work for free. They have to work for free selling the company's fucking stocks. Do they get paid a commission? No. So it's basically slave labor. No, it's worse than slave labor, because slaves are normally given room and board. So he has to sell like hundreds of thousands of dollars in fucking stocks, and these other people are selling $100,000 in stocks for the privilege of maybe getting a low paycheck. Well, fuck that. So his wife is like, well, fuck you. I don't want to support the family this entire time while you do this shit. Um, let's see here. So his wife is like, fuck you. I'm going to go get married to someone else who appreciates me. You're a high time preference deadbeat. Which is kind of an interesting role reversal. So Will Smith says that she's incapable of being a single mother and agrees that Christopher will remain with his father, making him one of the extremely few high time preference people to actually stay with his son. If we look at most high time preference people, given Virginia, about 80% of high time preference people there abandon their children who go with the mother. So I guess he's the exception rather than the rule. Um, so he basically steals their son, but Will Smith is set back further when his bank account is garnished by the IRS for not paying his taxes. Why didn't he pay his taxes? Because he's a fucking high time preference deadbeat. I thought like paying your taxes was a patriotic duty. I thought that everyone needed to pay their fair share. But because Will Smith has high time preference, he's like, gives me that. I can either have money or I can pay my taxes. I want them money. So he doesn't pay the taxes. This is the third or fourth or fifth person in the movie he's stolen from. They're like, well, the government's evil. They stole my taxes. Um, so this is kind of interesting. There's kind of a funny part where, let's see here. What was it again? So a guy helps him move out of the apartment, and he says that they're even for their $20, and this is his last friend. He, however, demands the $20 and screams at him, and I think attacks the guy, demanding his money, despite the fact that the guy did a service for him which costs more than $20. Um, so his son are evicted, and they end up on $22, $22 resulting in them being homeless. So they stay the night at a restroom at a BART station. That is, I think, Los Angeles Rapid Transit or something, or San Francisco Rapid Transit. So if anyone like had diarrhea or were an old person or pregnant, well, tough shit. They aren't allowed to use the fucking washroom because Will Smith has high time preference. So because Will Smith has high time preference, countless older people shit themselves. Women can't change their pads. Little kids piss their pants, and that the whole station smells like crap, just so Will Smith can stay somewhere for the night because he doesn't want to stay on the streets. Um, so other days, he and Christopher spend nights in a homeless shelter. He often isn't allowed in because shelters are only for kids and women. Adult males are not allowed to. Why? Because of female privilege. Um, so later, Will Smith finds the bone scanner he lost at the station and repairs it and sells it, thus completing the sale of all his scanners. So this was the whole thing. He was like, basically like, I'm trying to think of how to put it. He's like, if I sell the scanners, things will work out. But he sells all the scanners, and he's broke in massive debt and living on the streets. Because he was like, gives me that, I want high time preference. So disadvantaged by limited work hours, and knowing that maximizing his client contacts and profit are the only way to earn the broker position, Will Smith develops a number of ways to make phone sales more efficient, including reaching out to potential high-value customers defying protocol. On one sympathetic prospect who's a top-level pension fund manager even takes him and his son for the San Francisco 40 Miners game. Regardless of his challenges, he never reveals his lowly circumstances to his colleagues, even going so far as to lend one of his bosses $5 for a cab fare, a sum he cannot afford. Concluding his internship, Will Smith is called in a meeting with the managers. One of them notes he is wearing a new shirt. Will Smith explains it is his last day and thought to dress for the occasion. The manager smiles and said he should wear it again tomorrow, letting him know he has won the coveted full-time position. Fighting back tears, Will Smith shakes hands with them and rushes to his son's daycare to embrace his son. They walk down the street, joking with each other, and pass by a man in a business suit, who is the real person the film is based off of in a cameo appearance. The epilogue reveals that Will Smith went on to form his own multi-million dollar brokerage firm. So what are we supposed to take away from this movie? That high time preference pays off. That you shouldn't plan for the future, and that these things kind of happen. We're expected to believe that Will Smith, he earned this. He earned this. That this is a story of him living the American dream. So I guess the idea is to be grossly irresponsible, break up your family, and to chase a pipe dream, which is exceedingly improbable. Which is more or less how high time preference people are, if you know what I mean. Because a lot of them are like, I will become the football player, I will become a rapper, and they spend their lives giving out mixtapes or trying to bully people into buying their mixtapes or trying to get into sports or rap instead of pursuing real careers. Could Will Smith have pursued a real career and made money? Yes, he could have. He didn't want to, though. Instead, he opted for get-rich-quick schemes and pipe dreams that had no real chance of succeeding, but did because it's a movie and because it was based on one of the 1 in 1,000 chances that it happened. So are we supposed to respect this man and say that he did this, he succeeded because he was some sort of genius and that he made the right decisions? No, this film clearly shows he made the wrong decisions, and his success came from stealing from others, screwing people over who were trying to make an honest living, and using his wife as a paid slave. It also shows that the fucking company that he's grateful to used him as slave labor, and the other 19 people wasted months of their lives making profit for a company that refused to pay them. Yet this film is supposed to be some sort of vindication of capitalism. To me, it just shows the issues with a certain high time preference community and their logic. And if anything, it shows why so many of them are in poverty and so many of them have failed marriages. This film ironically kind of proves the exact opposite of what it was trying to prove. But that's normally the case for films like this. So I hope you enjoyed this reaction review. I guess this was a bit funnier than some of the ones I've been doing lately. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.